Singapore Prime Minister Hsien has warned of more disruptions to come in a world that he described as, quote, very unsettled. Speaking to the media as he wrapped up his trip to Japan, he said these could come on top of price adjustments amid the problem of rising inflation. Mr. Lee also spoke about how the region can foster greater economic and security cooperation. Mitch Ishida tells us more.
A web of war and worsening inflation is resulting in what Prime Minister Hsien calls unconventional measures as governments feel the pressure. Already, some countries have put in place export bans on local goods. This includes Malaysia, which has said it will stop the export of chickens from next month to ensure its own people have enough. Moves like these will be felt keenly, particularly for Singapore as a consumer country.
The answer to it is not what we do now, but what we have been doing now for several years, which has been to build up our buffer stocks and our resiliency and diversify our sources so that if any single source is interrupted, we are not unduly affected. And if you can't buy chicken from one place, well, you can get chickens from other countries. And this time it is chicken, next time it may be something else. We have to be prepared for this.
Mr. Lee also spoke about Singapore's membership of the U.S.-led Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, or IPEF, which seeks to foster economic relations among 13 countries. He said economic engagement should be encouraged, particularly between the region and both the U.S. and China. He cited as an example Singapore's support of Beijing's Belt and Road Initiative, a policy that seeks to develop infrastructure and economic integration along the historic Silk Road.
The IPEF is stated as to promote economic cooperation. Its membership is meant to be inclusive. If you meet the criteria, well, you can be considered for membership. So I don't see that the two are mutually exclusive, or just because one side is deepening its cooperation, that means it's bad for the other side.
Turning to a question about how Japan may play a bigger role in regional security, Mr. Lee said this should be an issue that is explored with other nations so that the region collectively feels safe.
In Japan's case, it's particularly sensitive because of the war history. But with the passage of time, with the passing of generations in a new strategic situation, I think the imperative to play a greater role in regional security for Japan is growing. And the best way they can fulfill that is by coming to terms and putting to rest the historical issues, which have been open for a long time.
Mr. Lee said Japan's relations with Southeast Asia are progressing. With Northeast Asia, Japan has to do its best to try to have a working relationship to coexist with them, specifically with South Korea and China. Michio Ishida, CNA, Tokyo.